Welcome to the Boat Buyer's Secret Weapons series. I am your host, Captain Matt, and today we're talking about 5 key facts that you didn't know about the boating industry. So, we're going to talk about by the numbers, how boats are built, who controls pricing, dealer-manufacturer relationships, warranties, and why it all matters. Of course, we're brought to you by the Boat Buyer's Secret Weapon Toolkit. You can pick up your free copy at boatbuyerssecretweapon.com/toolkit. How to buy the right boat, how to demo a boat the right way, questions to ask, calculators. There's some special videos that we've thrown in, and it's all been updated for the 2021 season, and you can pick that up for free, boatbuyerssecretweapon.com/toolkit. So let's start with the numbers. What you may not know is the actual size of the boating industry. So if you want to compare it to light cars and trucks, so Honda, Toyota, Mercedes, BMW, Ford, Chevy, all of those, the size of the boating industry is about 2% of the car and truck industry. So what that means is it's so much smaller. In 2019, there were only 280,000 new boats that were sold compared to over 16 million light cars and trucks. On the used side, just under a million used boats, 40 million, almost 41 million, so less than 2% on the used that were sold. Now, what's also interesting is the segmentation. So in the light car and truck market, I came up with about 30 different manufacturers: Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Tesla, BMW, Mercedes, Fiat. All of those, I found about 30 of them. In the boat side, it's well over 100 manufacturers in an industry that is less than 2% of the overall cars and trucks. Now, when you break it down by type, it's even more drastic. There were only in 2019, only 55,000 new pontoons sold by 37 manufacturers. On the center console market, even more segmented, 55, almost 56,000, but 58 manufacturers, because you've got, the Texas flat boats are different than the Carolina flat boats that are different than the center consoles they run on the West Coast, different than the center consoles they run down in Miami and in South Florida. And you see that all the way through. Wake boats, only 11,000 with 10 different manufacturers. So what you find is that a single manufacturer, even if it's the big one, if you look at pontoons like Bennington or center consoles, a Sea Hunt or a Sea Pro or Key West, they're not building 50, 100,000 boats like the smallest car manufacturer would be. They're actually only building a small number, probably well under 10,000 units for even the biggest in each individual segment. Now you can see the one area that's different is personal watercraft. There's only 3 manufacturers with about 72,000 units sold. So that segmentation isn't in that portion of the marine industry, but everywhere else it's very, very segmented. What that means to you as a consumer is that the production process is way different. If you were walking into a boat facility and you were walking into a Mercedes manufacturing center or BMW center or Ford manufacturing center, the level of automation you're going to see is significantly different, and the way they build is completely different. So the boating industry is also a very hands-on, handcrafted setup. So even the largest manufacturers, the more advanced ones, Brunswick with all of their brands. I mentioned Sea Hunt and Sea Pro, some of the larger ones in the center console area. Bennington, Harris in the pontoon segment. All of these manufacturers have a very manual build process. You're not going to see a lot of automation, robotics, AI. You're going to see an actual American citizen in 99% of the cases building the actual boat. Not necessarily the case in the engine segmentation. Some of Mercury's products are built overseas. But for the most part, Volvo's built overseas. But for the most part, the boats themselves are built here in the United States, and they're very much built by hand. If you walk through a facility, you'll see things like this: boats, the hulls rolling on a cart next to the cockpit, or the deck that's rolling on a cart next to it, and then they manually put it together, using lifts and pulleys, and there's carts going down with the parts on it that are loaded up by hand for each individual boat. And based on the specs of that boat, that cart goes down the line, so that they know what material to go. And each stop, that hull ID number has the parts that are going to go with it based on the options chosen. Again, if you go to buy a Honda Odyssey, there's 5 different. You can get the Elite Touring, all the way down to whatever their base model is, but there's only 5 different options, and you get what you get. So if you get that option, if you get that package, everything that's included in there is included, and there's not much you can add and delete. We're on a boat, because the boating style up in Minnesota may be very different than what somebody that buys that same 22-foot bow rider wants if they're boating in Florida, or if they're boating up in the Pacific Northwest, is going to be different than what they want if they're boating in the Northeast. Because of that, these handcrafted boats are very distinct with the options, and the options package are: here is the 150 options you can get on this boat, and very few of them, except for Yamaha Boats, does a pretty much of a package deal. If you want the 240 AR, this is what you get. You pick the color, and that's all your options that you get to choose from. Where if you're buying a Sea Ray or a Regal or a Chaparral or a Pontoon, especially a center console, it's very much handcrafted and designed exactly how you want. So that's why they can't use the robotic production, because each one's just a little bit different in a lot of cases. Another thing that's interesting to note: most boats are not actually water tested. They're gonna come off the assembly line. Some manufacturers may pull 10% of the boats out of the production and actually run them. Others will just finish up. They run through their quality control checks through the production line. As they hit different phases, they load them up and they put them on the trailer. Maybe they package them with the trailer. Maybe it's just the boat that's going to go down on the truck and be sent to the dealer to then unload it. And the unloading process, again, a very manual, non-automated part. They may have to rent a crane to have their boats unloaded. They may have a lift like this one, the hoist, where they can unload the semis and unload the trucks, but it's all very manual, which is one reason that boat pricing is where it is. As the cost of labor goes up, the cost of petroleum goes up in the fiberglass models. And then, you have the transport. They've got on this photo, you can see they've got 3. These are probably 23-foot boats, maybe. You can only get so many boats on a trailer. It's not like a car where you can easily just put 8 cars on a setup. You drive them on, you drive them off. You actually have to really get them on, snug them down, get them loaded right, so that the process of transport doesn't cause any damage. That's something that once it gets to the dealer's kind of responsible for going through that boat again and doing a kind of a quality control measure to make sure that when they deliver the boat to the end consumer, that everything is proper, ready to go, and the consumer's not going to have any problem. I'll tell you, 99% of boats that land at a dealership have some sort of defect or something that needs to be addressed, and it's just because of that. The handmade component, the lack of automation, the fact that it's a individual human doing it, and that every boat's a little bit different, so mistakes can be made, and that's why, unfortunately, that shakedown period happens, and I've got some other videos on that you can watch. So I would love to hear your comments. You can make a comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit like if you're enjoying this video so far. Wait till the end and like it, or thumbs down it if you don't enjoy it. But I would love to hear your questions about how things are different as well. But the next area that's different is pricing. So, what's interesting in the boating world is that the manufacturer controls pricing. Most manufacturers are going to tell the dealers, listen, the only price you can post, if any, some manufacturers don't want any prices posted. The only price you can post is the MSRP, the manufacturer's suggested retail price. You can't post anything other than that. And in some cases, we don't want you to post any prices. So you may get frustrated as you're shopping for boats and say, why won't they just tell me the price? Why do I have to call them? Well, that's because the manufacturers don't want the prices to get out so that people are calling from New York and getting prices in California, because their transport costs may be different. If the boats are made on the West Coast, the transport to the East Coast is going to be more expensive. And typically, not all, but typically the manufacturer is going to charge the dealer the shipping that it actually costs. So if you can run to the factory and pick up the boat, you can save the $1,500, $1,800, $1,200 of transport cost by running there and picking it up yourself. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that some manufacturers on some of their entry-level models are saying, you know what, instead of letting the dealer choose the price, we are going to set what they call a nationally advertised price or a market advertised price, NAP pricing or MAP pricing, NAP or MAP, and they're going to say, this is what the boat sells for. And then if there's anything you add on to it, you can charge whatever. But this is what the boat is. This is what the base boat, motor, trailer, whatever the combination is. And the manufacturer is going to set that. Tracker does a lot of that. Yamaha Jet Boats does that. And other times, the manufacturer is going to say, here's the MSRP. That's the only thing you can show, or you can't show anything, but you can sell the boat for whatever you want. And their one stipulation is, but you can't show pricing online. You can't advertise pricing in anything. Maybe they'll allow you to get away with putting a monthly payment as low as, $229 a month for boat, motor, and trailer, but that's going to be a situation by situation difference. And it's really interesting that the boating industry hasn't caught up with the fact that people want to know the price of a boat. You can't buy a boat unless you know the price. So why are they being so cagey with it? And the reality is because the manufacturers have that written into their contract, and that is a big part of it, that they don't want to be in violation of the contract between the dealer and the manufacturer. Another thing that is true in the marine industry that's not in the auto industry, that's kind of different, is that the dealer relationship makes all the difference. It is not like buying a car in the sense of, if you buy a Mercedes, you can roll into any Mercedes dealership, into their service department. They're happy to see you. They're happy to take care of you. They're happy to do any of the warranty work, and they're glad to do it. And that's a big profit center for them and something that they focus on. In the marine industry, because marine technicians are more difficult to find and more specialized than a car mechanic, the dealership may say, if you don't buy your boat here, we cannot prioritize you in our service department. If you buy your boat here, we'll give you VIP treatment. We'll get you in as quick as we can. We'll handle all of your warranty claims, and we'll take great care of you. There's only a handful of dealers in the U.S. and Canada that have that level of capacity and desire to drive their service department. Most of them say, listen, we've only got 6 months out of the year to do most of our service work. As soon as the weather warms up, everybody wants their boat ready for the water. If anybody has any breakdowns or issues, they all want it done before Memorial Day, 4th of July, or Labor Day. And then winterization, everybody wants to run their boat as long as they can and winterize it before the first freeze, and there's a big rush. But then during the winter, they sit there with not much to do. And because of that, they say, we only have the capacity to take care of the customers that buy boats from us, and we don't want to deal. If you're going to go drive 500 miles to save $1,000 on your boat, then we don't have the ability to fit you into our service department. Like it or not, that's a fact of the boat business, and something that you need to be aware of. The other thing is, at times, the manufacturers on their warranty work will not pay the full service rate that that shop charges. They may only pay 75% of their full labor rate, which is another reason why some dealer manufacturer relationships push them to not want to service somebody that doesn't buy their boat from them, because they're cutting their service labor rate on the boating side. Which leads us into warranties. This is another truth about the marine industry, the boating industry, that when you buy a boat from a dealer, it can be up to 3 different warranties that you're dealing with: main warranties and then sub warranties beyond that. So you've got your boat, your motor, and your trailer, and in most cases each of those is built by somebody different. So you have a Yamaha or a Mercury or a Evinrude or a Honda or a Suzuki outboard or a Mercury or a Volvo. That warranty for the engine and all its components are run through the manufacturer of the motor. Same thing with the boat. They say bow to stern warranty, but what they really mean is bow to stern on the things that we've built. So the hull, the windshield, all of that stuff is what they're saying is in the bow to stern warranty. If you've got a trailer, the trailer has its own separate warranty. So when you come to your dealer and you say, hey, I've got a warranty claim on this, the first thing they have to determine is, okay, who do I need to go to approve this warranty? Because it's not the dealer that's going to approve it, it's the manufacturer. Now, there's another level to it on the boat side, is that it may be you have a pump that went out, or maybe you have some issues with your flooring or your canvas or your stereo or your furniture, your upholstery, your windshield. The manufacturer is not going to warranty the components of every boat. Some manufacturers are stepping up and doing this more and more, but some still are saying, hey, we've got to now go to our vendor who sold us those pumps, who sold us that flooring, who sold us the speaker system, the stereo system, and we've got to go under their warranty, because nobody wants to get stuck with the bill. And so the frustration that can come with a consumer, unfortunately, in the boating industry, they need to get a lot better at this, but in the boating industry, they're got to go from the dealer has to check with the whoever the warranty is with, and then the warranty, the manufacturer may have to go to their vendor and see if they'll replace it under warranty. And at times they'll say, oh, yes, I know we have a 5-year bow to stern warranty, but that is a component that somebody else's and their warranty doesn't cover that issue. It's a terrible thing that the boating industry does. Some manufacturers are really good and say, hey, if we choose this component to go in our boats, we are going to cover it. Others, on the other hand, are, the spirit of the warranty isn't really kept, and they will try to get out of it, and you'll see those issues online. This explains why it happens, because it's the component company that is saying, no, we're not going to do it, and then the boat manufacturer doesn't step up, and the dealer doesn't step up and say, well, we're gonna take care of this for you. And that's where bad reputations happen in the boating industry, and unfortunately that's something that needs to be improved, in my opinion. So those are some things that you probably didn't know about the boating industry. What I do know about the boating industry is, despite all of the things that I kind of said were negatives, it is the best place to spend time with your family, to get away from the real world, to just get out there and have some fun like this guy here. Here's the biggest thing that you can do. My best piece of advice is to find the right dealer, because the right dealer can make all the difference. The right dealer knows how to work with the manufacturer's engine, boat, trailer, components. They know how to work the system to take care of their customers. A lot of times they will step up, even if somebody else won't. The right dealer will step up. The right dealer is going to make things as good as possible for you as a consumer, and they're going to take care of their customers the right way. So that's the biggest piece of advice that I can give somebody that's looking to buy a new boat, is find the right dealer. Make sure it's the right style of boat, all that stuff, but then make sure the dealer fits with what you need. Would love to see your comments, your anything that you know about the boating industry that you would think would be interesting to share. Like the video, don't like the video, give me a thumbs down, thumbs up, make a comment, let me know what you liked and didn't like about it. Subscribe to the channel, and YouTube has also recommended some other videos for you that you may find interesting. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you soon.